Welcome to Off the Cuff, episode 14, where we answer your questions about Lego. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. We love to answer your questions. Today's topics include color variations, discussions on future sets, especially with the breaking news on the new Modular, and also what we let our kids do.
Okay, wow, I'm not aware of any of these topics, so let's see what happens.
All right, our first question is about light blay. Have you noticed any color variations in recent sets with that color?
Recent sets, I don't know, but I have noticed color variation in light blay, slight, but it's not as consistent as I think we would want bricks to be. The best way, honestly, to see if there's variation is to just build a wall of bricks of the same Lego color, and then you can oftentimes see them. Now, there are a couple of things to emphasize. There's not just color variation, but there's also translucence issues. So there are some colors. Yellow is one of those. Dark red for a long time also had like this weird thing where you could shine light through some of the pieces, which is odd when you think about yellow and dark red. They're not normally transparent in any way, shape, or form. So that's an issue. But yes, light blay, I've noticed that there can be some variation in coloration. I can't tell you for sure if it's recent sets. I would say the one that I purchased most recently that had some dark blay would have been the Town Square. You know what? Here we go. We got it right here. We can check.
Not a lot of variation there. It looks pretty standard.
Yeah, this is actually looking pretty good. So, for the time being, circa 2024, light blay, checking out at least in my double version of the medieval town square. If you want to see that video, you can check it out. Julia's going to put a beautiful card right up there.
All right, our next question is in response to our video that we recently put out, talking about not saying that Lego is overpriced, which was a rather controversial video.
For us, it definitely was, yeah.
But the question is, are Lego influencers putting out a bunch of don't say videos? And if they are, is that evidence of Lego panicking in some way?
So, we'll be clear. Has Lego ever communicated with us in any way, shape, or form that you know of?
No, sadly.
Any free sets come our way?
Except for gift with purchases.
Which don't count because we're not...
the ones that
everyone has access to. So I don't know. To answer your question, I haven't seen a lot of videos that say that, but I am not obsessing over or, just drilling down deeply into the Lego YouTube. I do watch quite a few videos and channels as I have time. But as far as I'm aware, there are no talking points from Lego to don't say this or don't say that, or do say this, do say that. I don't think Lego's panicking, because if they were panicking, you would, I think, have other evidence and better evidence for it. Slashing prices on a lot of sets. Panicking would be they put out just a whole bunch of new themes out of nowhere, because they're struggling with other themes. Lego's in a pretty good spot. They are the #1 toy maker in the world. So I'm not sure. And last report I saw, they increased their market share, meaning that they didn't maybe grow as much in profit as they had been, but everyone else was decreasing in their profits. And Lego still increased their profits, which meant they grew their overall market share. I think it was like 3% in the first half of 2024 or something like that. So, I don't think they're panicking. We wouldn't know because we are not plugged into Lego. There is a group of people called the Lego Ambassadors who, as we are recording this right now, are sitting in Billund, Denmark, getting an advanced preview of all of, not all, but a lot of the really cool things coming our way over the next 4 to 6 months, maybe even longer. But we're in the same room we always film. I know it looks different because we're renovating our room. We're redoing storage and other things like that. So yeah, I don't think Lego's panicking, but we wouldn't know. We have no inside details on that. I wish. Do I? I don't know. Anyway.
All right, next question is, do you let your kids play with your Lego, or Do you have separate copies for display and play?
So, wow, I think it's flattering that you all think we buy like multiple copies of sets, one for display, one for play. We don't. We are definitely on a budget. We have purchased 7 Lego sets this year. To be fair, some of them very expensive. But the reality is, I do let my kids play with Lego, especially when we build a set. Like when we do reviews, genuinely we build the sets and we play with it. And so the kids may not build much of a set. Like they helped, like Kiara particularly on the Tournament Temple City in that set review, and even the speed build we did. But then they'll play with it and they will share their feedback in terms of what they really like, what they don't like, and some of their general thoughts. And I take that into account when I put the video together. They don't always like being on camera, and I don't want to force them to do that, of course. So many times when I do reviews, it is a little bit of information from other members of the family. So yeah, I do let them play. I do let them play with our modular city that's downstairs that we still need to update with our custom modular we built in June. So we'll try to do a video on that shortly. But yeah, they play with it. We don't have a separate copy for them. We don't, like these sets back here, like the kids have all played with quite a bit. Our Snow White and Seven Dwarfs Cottage was full of like the kids' animals. Autumn, during our live build, and she was going upstairs, getting, deer and birds and all of a sudden just adding it to it. Yeah, she had a blast doing that. So yeah, the kids play with it.
But I will say, so the kids do have their own collection as well.
Yeah.
So there's separate collections. So have a little bit more freedom with their own collection. So they can take whatever they want apart, redo whatever, make new creations. They kind of just go at it. And, the table's a wreck of various parts of deconstruction, construction, and whatnot. But when they play with your Lego, it's much more like controlled, I guess. Like they can play with the set, but it stays here. It doesn't get mixed in with theirs, and things have to be put back, and it's a little bit more structured to keep everything a little bit more organized.
And I do like having things on display and having them built because I can take them off the shelf. For instance, Ninjago City, I can take those off the shelves. I can put them in a layout, and the kids can play with it. And then, when they're done with it, we can put it back on the shelf. So it's kind of handy to have them. This is really the first time since we started this YouTube channel over the past like 6 months or so that we've actually had, display shelves. And we've actually been able to really keep things together for extended periods of time. And so I'm happy about that, but it also means that, kids can play with it and we'll put it back up and, they can pull some of their old favorites off of the shelf every now and again.
All right, we're going to transition now to talking about some feature sets that are coming up. First of all, a question was asked, do you think there will be more Lord of the Rings sets released?
Yeah, we received this question a few times during some of our live builds that we did over the summer, and particularly with Barad-dûr, because people were into Lord of the Rings and they want to know. And yes, we are getting more Lord of the Rings sets. I don't have any insider information about that, but I can tell you that the success of Rivendell and the success of Barad-dûr, as best I can tell, warrant additional sets. The question then becomes, do you get the large sets? Do you get small sets? Do you get affordable sets or just these massive, 18 plus, 4,000, 5,000 piece behemoths? And I'm hoping, and I don't have any evidence, I don't have any inside knowledge, but I'm hoping that between the War of the Rohirrim that's coming out in December, between that and The Search for Gollum, another movie that's being made in the near future, that Lego is going to maybe probe some of the smaller sets. And by smaller sets, I do mean minifig sets, not the brickheads, although we do have some of those. I
think you had mentioned to me at one point that a lot of the fans of the original movies are getting older. And so they're wanting, the bigger, more impressive sets. But if there's new things coming out, you can maybe get a younger crowd that maybe can't afford quite as big a set.
Yeah, and a lot of these sets, if you go back to when they were first released in 2010, 11, thereabouts, they need an update. They were using pieces that were new at the time, but now you've got another 10 to 15 years worth of development from Lego that will make these sets better and more relevant to Lego fans and collectors of today. So I think there's an opportunity there. The question is, Lego is doing a lot of new themes. Like they just announced a series of new partnerships, including the Netflix show Wednesday, Wicked. Of course, they have Dungeons and Dragons, which isn't a theme, but they do have the castle and the collectible minifigs. An expanded partnership with Formula One, Nike. Like there's all these things that they're coming out with. I don't know if they have room in their portfolio right now for Lord of the Rings sets. So I'm hoping they do. I'm hoping that they're affordable sets. I'd like to get some. I'd like to support that if we can, but we'll see.
So then what castle sets do you think we might see in the next year?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think the Lionette's Castle and the Medieval Town Square were fantastically successful sets. We also have the opportunity to buy, starting October 8th, a Forest Hideout set through the Bricklink Designer Program. And so that's one that's available, and we're going to see, I think, some castle sets through that program. Because those are really popular there, which suggests, and I've talked about the Bricklink Development Program, where I actually think it's a good testing ground for Lego. And I think those castle sets are very successful there, which can help translate to more castle sets. Now, what will we see? I'm hoping it's some sort of fortress. I'd love to get some Black Falcons. If you notice, like we have Black Falcons in the Lionette's Castle. We have some Black Falcons in the Medieval Blacksmith Shop that we've got sitting right here. We don't have anywhere for the Black Falcons to be. So I'm hoping that they do some sort of remake of the Black Falcons Fortress, which is one of the epic sets from the 1980s. And that would be fantastic.
Excited there.
Well, yeah, like I'm getting, the shivers just thinking about that. Because with the Lionette's Castle is kind of, it's all of these really cool elements from the Lionette's theme back in the 80s, including the King's Castle, the King's Mountain Fortress. Like there are these elements. It's not a one-to-one, of course, but to have something like the Black Falcons Fortress, to have a smaller castle that would be $400, maybe like $200, $250 castle, that would be really sweet. Think of it maybe kind of like an LOtR Fortress, where they remake something, but it's modern pieces, modern building techniques, very dense, similar size, but dense. I think it'd be fascinating if they did something like that with the Black Falcons Fortress. If they had a print, they're not going to do it. I know they're not going to do it. But if they had a print of that flag, not a sticker, but a print, that would be amazing. Because that's one of the iconic flags of all time. That and the rampant lion that came in the Armor Shop, set number, I think, 6040, 6041, back in the 1980s, which you can barely find. They're oftentimes worn out because it's over now 40 years old. They're about, anyway, I would love it. I would love it if they did that. That's what I'm hoping. But I do think we're going to get more castle sets coming up through official Lego icons or whatever over the next, 12 months. Yeah.
All right, finally, we had some breaking news today. There was a little bit of a leak, and we found out that the new modular is going to be townhouses. So
yeah, residential.
Tell me what you think that might look like, what you might hope it looks like, what kind of floor plan you think that might look like.
So we've talked about this before. The modular, if it follows previous patterns, will be a corner modular building. There's nothing that's holding Lego to that. They can do whatever they want, but straight corner. We had the boutique hotel, we had the jazz club, then we had the Natural History Museum, and now it would be in line for a corner building. And personally, I hope it's a corner building because our modular city and yours needs more corner buildings. So that's what I'm hoping in terms of layout. That's what it's going to be. In terms of style, I would love it if they did something Victorian. I really like the Castle Bed and Breakfast in the Friends line. We don't have it. It's one of those sets on the wish list that kind of gets never elevated to like the top 2 or 3 because like more sets keep coming out that are amazing. But that's a really cool one, and I love what they can do with some of the architecture with some of the pieces they have nowadays. So that'd be interesting. Almost think of it like San Francisco, maybe a couple of like row houses or something like that, but on a corner. I don't know how that would work in terms of entrance points. Do they have like a very bottom level at the corner market store and not have it entirely residential? Is it apartments? Is it sequenced homes, like 2 or 3? I don't know. But I would imagine that you're going to see multiple rooms, hopefully multiple bedrooms, bathrooms, like legitimate apartments.
Kitchen.
That might be necessary as well. There are plenty of eateries though, so maybe they're going with like the micro apartment style. Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping. Now, what we have seen, and this all, by the way, comes from individuals that have sources, probably, I'm guessing, among LEGO ambassadors, because it's LEGO Ambassadors Weekend over a week at Billund, and their leaks have been flying fast and furious, meaning that people that are there in Billund are sharing what they are signing on the dotted line to not do, which is to leak information. So LEGO may need to fix some of that. But $230 is the rumor for about 3,300 pieces, which strikes me as pretty in line with what we've seen with modular buildings. Certainly a 32 by 32 base plate, nothing that's 48 wide, given that price. So I'm expecting that. I'm hoping it's really cool. Maybe some really interesting like sand reddish or that new coral red. I don't know. Like I'd love to see some really cool colors built into it.
Yeah, it would be fun to get a little bit creative with the colors, but also have it kind of fit in too at the same time. I don't know. That's always the challenge. Like something new, but something that fits.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the interesting things about the modular city is it's really become eclectic, which reminds me of an old Frasier episode where talking about home decor and nothing seems to go together, and Frasier's like, it's eclectic.
Well, it's a style of decorating. It's called eclectic.
And then, you know, if you haven't seen Frasier, forgive me, bear with me, but the dad has this really awful dated chair, and it doesn't fit in with anything, and Frasier criticizes it, and his dad's like, it's eclectic.
Oh, it's eclectic.
It just fits everything like here. And I think that's kind of like the modular buildings. It really is, you know, you've got a lot of different styles ranging from, you know, the late 1800s all the way through the 1950s, and, you know, you can definitely fit in other styles. Even if they don't look good necessarily next to each other, when you see them all, it always looks good. That's the beauty of LEGO modular buildings, in my opinion.
That's it for today of Off the Cuff. Please comment below with your questions. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, and always remember to keep building together.